Hello everybody, and today I'm not really feeling good, so if I don't really sound right, then that's why. But today I don't really feel like playing, so I'm going to read a book. Okay? It's The Tale of Peter Rabbit. The Tale of Peter Rabbit. Once upon a time, there were four little rabbits, and their names were Floppy, Musby, Cottontail, and Peter. They lived with their mother in a sandbank underneath the root of a very big tree. "Now, my dears," said old Mrs. Rabbit one morning, "you may go into the fields or down the lane, but don't go into Mr. McGregor's garden. Your father had an accident there. He was put in a pie by Mrs. McGregor. Now run along and don't get into mischief. I am going out." Then the old Mrs. Rabbit took a basket and her umbrella and went through the wood to the bakery. She bought a loaf of bread, a brown bread, and 5 currant buns. Floppy and Mopsy Cottontail, who were good little buns, went down to the lane to gather blackberries. Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight away to Mr. McGregor's garden and squeezed under the gate. He ate some lettuce, some fresh beans, and then he ate some radishes. And then, feeling rather sick, he went to look for some parsley. But round at the end of the cumber, friend, whom should not he meet but Mr. McGregor. Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees planting out young cabbages, but he jumped up and ran after Peter, waving a rake and calling out, "Stop, thief!" Peter was most dreadfully frightened. He rushed all over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of the shoes among the cabbages, and the other shoe among the potatoes. After losing them, he ran on 4 legs and went faster, so that I think he might have gotten away. Altogether, he had not unfortunately run into a gooseberry net and had got caught by the large button on his jacket. It was a blue jacket with brass buttons, quite new. Peter gave himself up for lost and shed big tears, but his sobs were overheard by some friendly sparrows who flew to him to great excitement and implored him to act himself. Mr. McGregor came up with a seat, which he intended to pop upon the top of Peter. But Peter wiggled, and just at the same time leaving his jacket behind him, and rushed into the tool shed and jumped into a can. It would have been a beautiful thing to hide in if it had not so much water in it. Mr. McGregor was quite sure Peter was somewhere in the tool shed, perhaps hidden underneath the flower pot. He began to turn them over carefully, looking under each. Presently, Peter sneezed. Mr. McGregor was after him in no time. Oh wait, never mind. And tried after Peter, who jumped out of the window, upsetting the plants. When the window was too small for McGregor, and he tried. He was tired. of running after Peter. He went back to his work. Ow. Peter sat down to rest. He was out of breath and trembling with fright. I want to highlight this. I haven't highlighted anything yet in any of my books. I just want to highlight this. Yep. Ooh, it's so pretty. Right, and he had not at the least idea which way to go. He was also very damp with sitting in that can. After a time, he began to wander about, going limpy, not very fast, and looking all around. He found a door in a wall, but it was locked, and there was no room for a fat little rabbit to squeeze underneath. An old mouse was running in and out over the stone doorstep, carrying peas and beans to her family in the wood. Peter asked her the way to the gate, but she had such a large pea in her mouth that she could not answer. She only shook her head at it, and Peter began to cry. And he tried to find his way to the straight across the garden, but he became more and more puzzled. Presently, he came to the pond where Mr. McGregor filled his water cans. A white cow was staring at some goldfish. She sat very still, but now and then the tip of her tail twisted as if were alive. Peter thought it was best to go any way without speaking to her. He heard about cats from his cousin, little Benjamin Bunny. Okay, I'll continue tomorrow. Thank you.